Now we will prove frequency differentiation property. Frequency differentiation property. So this is the frequency differentiation property. If you differentiate the frequency domain, or if you differentiate the DTFT, if you differentiate the DTFT, it corresponds to multiplication of the time domain signal with n, right? It corresponds to multiplication time domain signal with n. If you remember, for continuous time signal, differentiation of x of omega, had the time domain signal like this, minus jt into f of t, right? Minus jt into f of t. Now this is also same. Instead of t, now I have n, right? Instead of t I have n, and instead of f of t I'm just writing it as x of n, right? Now I have my dt of t, right? Discrete time Fourier transform, and dy d omega of x of e power j omega, right? X of e power j omega. Now if this minus j I take it to the other side, it becomes 1 by minus j, which is nothing but j, right? I take minus j from here and I'll just write j on the other side. So that is the same property. Now I can differentiate on the I can differentiate the DTFT, because DTFT is a continuous time signal. So previously I was not able to differentiate my time domain signal, so I took differencing property there. Now I can differentiate the frequency domain signal here, so I will differentiate it. That is frequency differentiation, right? Now I will prove this. So let me prove this. I will take DTFT of my time domain signal n into x of n, which is nothing but summation minus infinite to infinite n into x of n into e power minus j omega n, right? For now, just ignore this. So this is my analysis equation, my time domain signal multiplied by e power minus j omega n. Now I am just making a small adjustment here. What is that adjustment? I am multiplying it with j into minus j, right? What is j into minus j? J into minus j. If I multiply, I'll get minus j square. Minus j square is nothing but minus of minus 1. So that is equals to 1. So multiplying with this does not change my equation, right? It does not change the equation. So I'm just multiplying it with j into negative j. Then 1j I'm getting it outside. And now I have summation minus infinite to plus infinite x of n minus j into n minus jn e power minus j omega n. So this part I am considering it as one term, right? This whole part I am considering it as one single term. So how can I write this term? It is nothing but d by d omega of this term can be written as d by d omega of e power minus j omega n, right? What is differentiation of e power minus j omega n? It is e power minus j omega n into minus j n, right? That is what I am writing here, d by d omega of e power minus j omega n. Then I'm going to interchange integration. Sorry, not integration. I'm going to interchange the differentiation and summation, differentiation and summation. So you'll get the differentiation outside and I'll take the summation inside. So I'm left with j into d by d omega of this term. So this term is equivalent to x of e power j omega. So finally I am left with my dt of n into x of n is equal to j into d by d omega of x of e power j omega. Right? These are all different, and these are all DTFT pairs. So all these DTFT pairs must be remembered. However, whichever signal I give, you must be able to find the corresponding DTFT for that signal using these different properties. The next one is accumulation property. Accumulation property. This is equivalent to integration in time domain. Accumulation is equivalent to integration in time domain. Since my time domain signal is discrete, I cannot integrate, so I am accumulating. That is summation, right? So summation m is minus infinite to n x of m as DTFT. This is the DTFT. That's what we are going to prove now. So let me take summation m is minus infinite to n x of m. This can be written as summation minus infinite to plus infinite. This is the standard form, right? Minus infinite to plus infinite is the standard form. So I'm converting this into standard form. So I'm multiplying my x of m with u of n minus m. So what is u of n minus m? U of n minus m is my unit step function, discrete time unit step function, which is 1 for n minus m greater than 0, greater than or equal to 0, 0 for n minus m less than 0, right? So if I simplify this, m is less than or equal to n. Here m is greater than n. So for m less than or equal to n, that is from minus infinite till n, my u of n minus m becomes 1. So I can write this as summation m minus infinite to n x of m, and my u of n minus m is 1 in this range, and in the other range from n plus 1 till infinite, my u of n goes to 0, so the entire term goes to 0. So this is what is there on the left hand side. So the equivalent of this term is this. Now I will find the DTFT for this term. That is equal to summation n is equal to minus infinite to infinite. This is my x of n here, right? This is my x of n here, right? So I'll write that term into e power minus j omega n. Now let me separate the summations. Summation m is equal to minus infinite to infinite x of m. I am introducing a term. I am going to multiply it with e power minus j omega m, and again multiply it with e power j omega m. So if I combine these two terms, it's equal to 1. So what I am doing here, I am separating m terms and n terms. So m terms I am writing separately, and this is n terms I am writing separately. So this m terms is equivalent to summation m is equal to minus infinite to infinite x of n e power minus j omega m. What is it equal to? It is equal to x of e power j omega, right? It is equal to x of e power j omega, and here I have summation minus infinite to infinite u of n minus m into e power minus j omega n minus m. So that I'll consider as n minus m is equals to y. I will consider n minus m is equals to y, and since I changed n to y, I should change the summation variable to y, right? Now what is this equivalent to? This is equivalent to dtft of u of y, or dtft of u of n. U of n is the unit step function, right? Discrete time unit step function. So this entire term here is equivalent to dtft of unit step function, right? dtft of unit step function, that is u of e power j omega. Now we will find u of e power j omega. This is the dtft of u of n that we will see in the coming slides when we find the dtft of standard signals. dtft of u of n is equals to 1 by 1 minus e power minus j omega plus pi into delta 2 pi of omega, right? Pi into delta 2 pi of omega. Delta 2 pi of omega means it is, I mean the delta function is nothing but the impulse function. It repeats every 2 pi at 0, and then again at 2 pi, and again at 4 pi, minus 2 pi, minus 4 pi, and so on. Right, this is the dtft of u of n. So I'll just substitute the dtft of u of n here. If I substitute, I'm just going to multiply this term, this Fourier transform dtft, with x of e power j omega, x of e power j omega. Right? So this is based on multiplicative property of the impulse. I am basing it on multiplicative property of the impulse, and this delta 2 pi of omega, I am writing it as summation form. I'm writing it in the form of summation. How can I write? This is nothing but summation impulses delta, which is a function of omega, and it is there for every 2 pi radians per second. So 2 pi into some integer. The integer value ranges from minus infinite to plus infinite, right? That is the accumulation property. Now the convolution property, convolution in time domain. This is very similar to how we have proved in the continuous time Fourier transform. I take the convoluted signal, convolution of the two signals, and what is the convolution? What is the convolution formula? In time in continuous time, we had integration x of tau, or x1 of tau, x2 of t minus tau d tau, right? Now this is discrete time. In discrete time, we have, instead of summation, instead of integration, we have summation. So summation n is equals to minus infinite to plus infinite, x1 of m, x2 of n minus m. So this I'm going to substitute in place of convolution. Now I will multiply with e power minus j omega m and e power j omega m. The next step is separating n and m integrals, summations, n and m summations. The first one is nothing but x1 of e power j omega. The second summation is nothing but x2 of e power j omega. Just substitute n minus m is equals to p. So n minus m is equals to p. Now m variable can be changed to p. So summation p is equals to minus infinite to plus infinite, x2 of p e power minus j omega p, which is nothing but discrete time Fourier transform of x2 of p. So it is x2 of e power j omega. So multiplication of the two individual DTFTs. So convolution in time domain is multiplication in Fourier domain. The same thing for multiplication in time domain. So multiplication in time domain is nothing but convolution in Fourier domain. So we'll take the inverse DTFT here. This is the definition for inverse DTFT, right? Here I have, this is the definition for inverse DTFT. In place of omega, we should either use this omega or the other omega, right? If I use capital omega here, I should use capital omega for the rest of my proof. I should not use two different omegas. I should use a single omega in the entire proof. So if I replace this variable with lambda, it looks like this, but there is no change in the entire equation. I'm just replacing it with a dummy variable. Now DTFT of multiplication of two signals is summation minus infinite to infinite, the multiplication of two signals x1 into x2 into e power minus j omega n. Now instead of x1 I am going to substitute the inverse DTFT of, instead of x1 I am going to substitute the formula for inverse DTFT, right? Instead of x1 I am going to substitute the formula. Now I will interchange summation and integration. I'll interchange summation and integration. So how does it look like? 1 by 2 pi integration, and then I'll get the summation inside. Summation minus infinite to infinite x2 of n e power minus j omega minus lambda into n, and what is left? x1 of e power j omega d lambda. Now if I simplify it further, I will get 1 by 2 pi integration minus pi to pi x1 is here, x1 e power j omega or j lambda, let me say j lambda, and here summation n is equal to minus infinite to plus infinite x2 of n e power minus j omega minus lambda dn, right? So this is equals to x2 of, in place of omega I have omega minus lambda, x2 of e power j omega minus lambda d lambda. So that is the multiplication in time domain or convolution in frequency domain. The next property is correlation property. So this is the correlation property. So two different signals have two different DTFTs. Then what is the DTFT of the correlation of these two different signals? Right? Correlation of these two signals will have the DTFT as x of e power j omega and y of e power minus j omega, multiplication of those two signals, right? So that we can prove similar to convolution. In place of r xy of n, I'm going to substitute the formula for correlation, right? Convolution formula was summation m minus infinite to plus infinite x1 of m x2 of n minus m, right? That was convolution formula. Correlation formula is very similar to convolution formula, but there is a sign reversal here. Instead of n minus m, I'll have m minus n. That is the only difference between convolution and correlation, right? Instead of n minus m, I'll have m minus n. That is why there is a sign change here. In convolution, what was it? If this was a convolution, if I had to find the DTFT of x1 convoluted with y, x of n convoluted with y of n, how will the DTFT look like? It is just the multiplication of these two terms here, x of e power j omega and y of e power minus j omega. Now, correlation, there is a change in sign here, right? Here it was n minus m, now it is m minus n. Since there's a change in sign for the second signal, so for the second signal, in place of omega, I have minus omega. So that is what we will prove finally. So if you continue in the same manner as the convolution proof, we will arrive at this. We will arrive at this DTFT, right? So DTFT of correlation of two functions or two signals x and y is DTFT of x of n, that is x of e power j omega, multiplied with the time reversal of y of n, right? Y of e power minus j omega. The other property is conjugation property. This is straightforward property. So we'll find the DTFT of x conjugate of n. So in place of x of n, I have x conjugate of n. Now I will write this as whole conjugate. I'm going to take the conjugate for the entire term. So in that process, this becomes plus here, right? So this is nothing but, this whole thing is nothing but x of e power minus j omega, and I have a whole conjugate. So the final answer is x conjugate of e power minus j omega. And the last property is Parseval's theorem, which we have already studied in continuous time Fourier transform. There it was for continuous signals, and now here it is for discrete time signals. The procedure is completely same. The procedure is completely same. So I'm not going through it in detail. You can try and prove it. The same procedure, just the change in formula here, right? There it was minus infinite to infinite. Here it is minus pi to pi. This is because our DTFT is periodic in nature with period 2 pi. That is the difference between CTFT and DTFT. And now we have already seen the time scaling, right? Time scaling and time reversal, we have seen them together. So this is the end of properties of DTFT. In the next video, we will look at some problems or we will calculate DTFTs for some standard signals as well.